Happy Tuesday evening, everyone. I'm Tex Homer, joined by former players Jet Bush and Drew Kelson, and we are going to look at the schedule from the player point of view. First, head over to Inside Texas, where you can join for $1, then 50% off your first year. New members only. Link is down in that description below. All right, so we don't turn this into a whole hour because going through a schedule can take a long time. We'll kind of go piece by piece, mostly to show what Drew and Jet are thinking about the opponents, also the little things of the mindset there, and also just our opinions on that'll be a hard game or we might have an easy win. But players don't like to say easy wins, so I doubt we're going to get a bunch of those. But I like to say it sometimes. All right, let's start off with non-con. I think the first major factor is, of course, you have Ohio State. That's a big deal. There's only 3 of them now. That's also a big deal. And Texas State and UTSA aren't soft. Like, these are respectable programs. The coaches there are great. So it's not even like a Sam Houston thing or like, we don't play FCS, but it's not even that bottom of the barrel ULM type teams. These are ones that are going to want to beat you. I know Texas State for a fact. One of our staff members is good friends with the head coach of Texas State, and he will not give him any intel about what their plans are. He knows that it'll get to us eventually, but Kenny is going to definitely try to play offense. I can imagine that. So first things first, the opener is at Texas State, known for their offense, struggled on defense a little bit. But what do you guys think of the opener or just being a player in general getting right for the opener? Whoever wants to go first may do so.
I mean, these guys believe. That's one thing I do know, which is kind of funny. I remember when I have friends who used to play at Rice, and it didn't matter. They came into every game believing. Now, they at the time were not, I would say, were not capable and didn't have the talent, and certainly didn't have at least the coaching and the preparedness that I think GJ Kinney will bring to the table. I mean, this is an opportunity for Texas State and for GJ and that staff to really show up and make a statement, and whether that means try to burn up the scoreboard and keep up or slow things down. I expect them to have some type of strategy to just kind of bastardize the game in a way. So you just never know in those first games, especially when you're playing an overmatched opponent. And so you just got those curveballs out there that you just want to make sure you get out clean, just allow your talent to take over, take it seriously, and come away with the win.
I think, too, Jed, I want to ask you about this. Their offense is good and like schematically good. So we have the athlete advantage, but if your athlete's 5 yards in the wrong direction, with his own rules, it doesn't really matter how athletic you are. So how do you think? Because I think the secondary is going to get tested, linebackers too, early on schematically.
Yeah, I think it'll all be tested for sure. They're going to take their shots. They're going to be very aggressive. They don't really have a choice. They definitely want to win, or at least worst case scenario, like put on a good show and at least be like, this is what we did against Texas. Is Texas State. It's a recruiting deal for them as well. Show them that they get to play on the big stage and stuff like that. And, they did really good last year. I don't know if they beat or lost to Rice in whatever bowl game they played, but Rice didn't have a bad season by any means. And we all know they've stepped it up a lot too. So, shout out to their coaching staff for kind of killing it. But in terms of like the player mentality, in terms of a realistic standpoint, obviously, you expect going in there like to put on, I would say, a dominant performance. You control the game. And like I said, no errors. Don't turn the ball over. Don't fumble the ball. Get turnovers and create fumbles on defense. And be technically sound and, don't mess up on your, gap assignments. And just, that's what I mean when I say technically sound or just basic assignments. So, definitely be looking out for those. I don't think it shouldn't be a problem. I don't care how many trick plays they're going to run because they will run them because – Herman always would talk about that, how he was at Rice or whenever we play these type of schools or these situations, how many trick plays or onside kicks or fake punts or fake PATs that they had up their sleeve. So that is always that is always a realistic thing you have to be out for. And that's also good to test your special teams, make sure everybody else is on point as well. I'm a big special teams guy, obviously. I love it. And so, it's just good to kind of see, kind of go feel the water for the first time. I have high expectations. Clearly, we have better athletes. Clearly, we have, I think we should put on, people are going to feel like we should be able to score every time we touch the football because we're Texas, they're Texas State. You know what I mean? But solid performance overall, just chemistry, want to see it. Whether it's the run game, the pass game, how the defense flows together, and just those fundamentals, probably a good time too over there in the stands.
Texas State shocked Baylor in their opener. We're at a different level of Baylor, that's for sure. But and I think when you say trick plays, I think UTSA. I don't know. We'll see with Texas State. I think they're going to get us on some pass plays, just straight up. And we'll talk about Ohio State, but I want to talk about the UTSA first. You played UTSA, right, Jet?
Yep, they almost beat us.
Yep.
Yeah. They almost beat us on no, that wasn't our championship season.
Yeah.
No, we beat them but they almost beat us. They had a trick play that worked, double pass.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out Gary Patterson. This story was told to me by a former player that played with me, and he was just standing next to him so happily before the play, and he just casually walks by and goes, like, watch here, double pass, like, bang. Next thing you know, throws a little bubble screen to the middle receiver, double pass. And then I get off the field, and he told me that. I was like, that is nuts.
That level of knowledge where you seem psychic, it's just like, it's absolutely awesome.
It's one of the more impressive things I've ever heard, for sure.
Yeah. What is it like playing a trailer team though? Are they?
I mean, are we talking about more? Now we're talking about UTSA though, right?
Yeah, we're not talking Ohio State. Yeah,
okay.
We're talking UTSA.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like, they're legit. I definitely, obviously, have them, like, in my personal bias, like, a step above for sure. Yeah. Texas State, like, in terms of reputation and just, like, history overall. They're like a legit program, and they've had a lot of success here in the past few years. And the thing they have is they recruit a lot of Texas talent that probably doesn't get the Texas offer, and that wants to stay home, and that wants to play for a Texas State school. And so, a lot of that talent is a lot better than where you get more than other schools, like, to be honest. And these kids are, coached and raised in football, Texas high school football. They're well accumulated to maturing really fast and being a very good player. That's always an aspect of that. And so I just think that's a little overlooked. I think they're always a little overlooked. I have a lot of respect for them, one, because they almost beat us, but they always like came to fight. And they always had, like, really good linemen, like, who were, just dirty and wanted to get nasty. Like, I always had a lot of respect for UTSA. So that's what I think about them. They're definitely somebody you can't take lightly. They're going to come out guns blazing. They're like one of those teams, even though, like, it is most teams, but they, like, legitimately believe they're going to go in and win that game. And if you don't respect them, that's the worst thing you can do.
They could.
Yeah, like, they could. Like, the worst thing you can do is lack of respect, And at the end of the day, you're disrespecting the ball game, and the ball's nothing's more important than the ball, and it'll always show you that.
What is in the next, Drew? You're going to have an advantage here. Ohio State, so they're coming to play at home here. But what are your quick? So we don't go for an hour. But what comes to mind when you think of Ohio State?
I mean, I know everyone else thinks about the stage and the national championship and all this other stuff, but I'm just happy to get great football, two great rivalries. Like, I mean, you can try to pick this game or go one side or the other, but I think it's a great litmus test. I mean, we kind of live for these at the beginning of the season, gives you something to set the foundation for really, okay, set the baseline for who are we, and a good measuring stick to take on through the rest of the year. So, no, exciting game, especially at night at DKR. I mean, you couldn't ask for better. This
is super easy. There's no motivation. Sark doesn't need to do any work here with the players, right?
No. At this point, the players need to have some fun. Like, this is one of those Sark games. It's like, go have fun. It's like, go have fun. Like, you really don't have to explain much other than that.
How was it when y'all played, like, Bama early, Jet? Was it just circled? Y'all knew that was the moment?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had it circled since the last time we lost. I was like, this will never happen again. I was like, next year, I can't wait. And so I guarantee you those players have had this circled since about 30 seconds after they lost last game, at least mentally.
Yeah.
I promise you. I don't even have to ask. Like, I'm very confident. I know their mentality. I think this is clearly going to be a revenge game, mentality, get back. We're going to come in, and we're going to want to be physical at the end of the day. That's what's going to be preached, is physicality is going to win this football game. And that's what I truly believe. If I was an ESPN analyst, I would tell you the same thing. Whether it's in the trenches, whether you're going down for putting your shoulder down, trying to gain a few extra yards before you go out of bounds as a wide receiver, whether you want them to, really put that shoulder into their gut so you can drive them into the dirt and really make them feel that. However you go about it, physicality is going to be the key to success for this, I believe. You're going to really want to send a message, not to the entire country, but really to the other team and be like, this is not the same team you played last year. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of tension, a lot of intensity, a lot of edge that is just weighing on these players, and they want to take it off. And I'm sure we feel it as a fan. We're hungry for a national championship. We know this is a national championship game. We're starving. I feel like as a franchise over here at the University of Texas. So we want to go out there and we want to prove a point. And I know Sark does. That's good. That's great for his reputation. It's great for everybody. When we win, we all eat. That was something that we said, and that's a fact. And so everybody gets food at the table because you care about your family, And so you go out there and you win. And it's just like Bama. We didn't really care that they went up in the fourth quarter. It's just kind of like you look at each other and you're like, we know we're going to win this game. Yeah. Like it's just this steadfast, concrete confidence, faith.
Texas gets through this non-con with however you win by half a point versus Ohio State, but a confident showing versus Texas State and UTSA. I feel good. I have respect for all three of these teams. Like I said, this is not a light non-con. You'll be able to tell a lot about this team's strengths and weaknesses really early on. And like we said earlier, that's it for non-con. And then you're right into a 9-game SEC schedule. For fans, it's wonderful, man, because just week after week, there's not a game on here that I'm not excited to watch for one reason or another. And that's absolutely awesome. So we're going to open at Tennessee. We haven't played them yet, of course, all the who's the real Texas side like that. But one of the coolest stadiums in college football. It hangs over you, man. It's gonna hopefully the players are ready for it too, because it's gonna be a gladiatorial event. But you got to open up here, right? There's really no ramp on the schedule, and there's really no ramp in the SEC, but they got to be ready immediately for conference play, whatever happens in non-con. Drew.
Yeah, but you want to be a team that doesn't have to play for a ramp, right? Like you want to be a team that has the mentality, the depth, and just the wherewithal to come out sharp. You're returning as far as key pieces in key leadership, you are returning those key pieces. So I get what everyone's saying from the standpoint of playing 9 SEC games straight. And yes, it'll be great for the fans, but it's great for the players too. Like you have every week, you have the talent, and you have the depth that's going to keep you sharp every week. You can't avoid it. And so I do think baked into, this SEC opener on the road during the day, like this is fun, man. Like there's every reason to show up and play this game and be excited about it. But before heading into that bye week.
Yeah. All right, let's so this is one of my theories, and it's half wrong, half right, I think. I don't like bye weeks or playing bad teams, because I think there's something mentally to staying sharp. On the flip side, I understand that you're hurt. And so I think that bye week or that week off is great. You physically need to heal at some level. But just y'all personally, did you like playing that bad team in the middle? Do you like the bye week? Or do you feel like you lose anything mentally in that period, or no?
I don't. I don't know. I was always. I feel like it's kind of player to player thing, to be honest. But I was always I could watch Saturday, games and basically feel like I just played a game. I'm taking so many visual reps. I can't watch football today and not take visual reps. The whole time I'm evaluating the defense or evaluating the offense and what would I do if I was in his, because I know exactly what his job is. Every play, it's actually kind of annoying and hard to enjoy sometimes, but that's not the point. The point is sorry, what was the question again?
Do you lose the mental edge during
no, I don't. I don't. I think you can, if you don't do anything, because they'll give you a couple of days to do nothing, then or maybe one off day, like true off day to do nothing. So you're not really doing anything. If anything, you're like preparing more. Like we get an extra week to prepare for this opponent, and we get an extra week to take care of our bodies. And I feel like it's really how you attack that year, like that week, player to player. I didn't really have any problem. Maybe some people feel like they didn't get the game reps or whatever that they needed, but I always felt like I needed more rest. So that was more. But then, like the little games aren't rest, like by any means. I'm still going all out, like I'm playing just, you know what I mean. So I prefer the actual true bye weeks, especially. I feel like you feel this more as you get older, clearly, because you're just getting older. But I always enjoyed, just college game day Saturday on the couch, and you get to watch it for once, and enjoy like kind of like that whole deal. So that was always really big for me in terms of recovery and kind of getting your body right for that next week, and kind of banged up a lot of my last year. So that was, that helped.
All right. Next up will be the Oklahoma Sooners. Y'all are familiar. We talk about this a lot, but that seems like the same thing as like a marquee non-con. It's always one thing that I think is fun is, and I've noticed this maybe in the Sark area, I don't know how long, but OU will come out of the tunnel like acting like we are so aggressive and excited and hopping. It seems kind of performative. And Texas has always under Sark stayed much more kind of calm and cool, which I think is kind of a true form of confidence. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But do y'all notice that when players are kind of like putting it on out of the tunnel and trying to act like it's an old school Under Armour commercial?
I think it has everything to do with, look at the record of Texas versus OU over the last several years. And so over the last decade, right? I think you do get, sorry, Jet, you do get just a certain amount of hype of just people putting on the jersey and feeling like this is enough to go win the game. And so you just feel confident in having that type of energy. I think Sark, for better or for worse, he likes his players, as he says, to play with emotion, but not be emotional. And so he kind of lives that out. And so it is actually good to see in such a hyped game and such a game that means so much, regardless of the implications of the SEC. Like this doesn't matter. Texas and OU, it matters to us. It doesn't matter where you put the football. It doesn't matter the conference. So, I have noticed, especially in the last several years, that they come out a little fired up because, energy is important. But I think confidence and certainty and preparedness stand for a lot. And I think Sark and the team have proven that.
Feels like they're putting it on. Like there was a funny one where they like came up to Lance Jackson and he was just like, "We're about to play. Like there's no need for this show." It's like when the fighters talk before when they're selling the fight, and then one of the fighters are like, "We will fight. There's you don't fight me here." So does that game, Jet, feel different in game? I know it feels all the pageantry, of course, you're in the Cotton Bowl. But that one, as a fan, it feels like there's more than the usual adjusting occurs in that game. It feels more chess than usual.
Yeah, it feels like it's the only game in the entire world that matters, that ever existed, is how it feels. Like this is the only thing that happens every year in the Coliseum and everybody gathers. You know what I mean? Like that's how it feels. The hate is real. The rivalry is real. Everything is to the ground, like to the dirt.
How's the crowd difference?
The crowd is pretty much the same because everybody hates us pretty much. But they're different because they have they're just from Oklahoma, I guess.
But do you feel the difference in the split of the stadium?
The split in the stadium is the coolest thing of all time. Like there's nothing like it. And just like down 50 and like you come in and it's just boo and all you hear is whatever X all the way to A all the way to Z. You've everything under the sun is said. And then it's just boo. And then it's and it just gets louder with ahs and cheers. And it's like the coolest transition that unless you run that tunnel and play for Texas, you'll never experience that ooh and ah. Like it's one of the most unique. Like I could see Drew thinking about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's one of the most unique experiences an individual can have. And it just gets you more fired up than anything, especially somebody who's not really being a big rah-rah. I mean, I am, but like not to myself in terms of like the extracurriculars outside of the locker room, like not really. Everything I do is pretty much inside. So I mean, I act the same. If they want to put on a show and try to get under my skin, that's cool.
I'm already crazy. I'm already crazy.
I'm like, you have no idea. You know what I mean? It's how I feel. I'm like, if you really want to find out, like, just come meet me in the concrete, like right after this game, and we go at it. You know what I mean? You just go ask one of my teammates how they feel about me. How that situation would go with another person.
So we're coming to the midway point after Florida here. So Florida loses coaching staff, have a new coaching staff. But Drew pointed out before the show, last year they had athletes. They had NFL players. They couldn't figure it out, but it wasn't a lack of talent at Florida. And then this year, it's not a lack of talent at Florida. We wanted their running back. We wanted their wide receiver. So they have real talent here. Is it year one? And then also there's then that back and forth, right? We ran up score on them 2 years ago. I don't even think we were trying. Like, we were calling run plays and going for 60 in the second half. It wasn't like we were bombing fades. But we did end up running up scores significantly. And then, of course, they black our eye last year. So it's not a rivalry, but there's a little 3-game history here now that I think is interesting. What's the thought there with Florida if you're a player and you took that loss last year?
I do think when we ran into Florida last year, I mean, you can call it revenge. You can call it thoughts of the player. Last year, when we played Florida, we had no idea who they were, even going into that game. I mean, we knew they were talented, but they had underperformed prior to playing against them. I think this year, at least there's several weeks under the belt to kind of see who they are. They'll be rounded into form. And so we'll know a bit more about who they are in spite of, the talent they are. And I think that's really the main risk of Florida this year. And that's in spite of some of the known talent they have. It's really more of, do we know who they are, and are we prepared down to the detail to really show up and play well against them the week after OU? I mean, it's easy, especially we talked about that bye week before OU, to really put so much energy and investment into that game to where you'd hope you don't feel exhausted at the end of it, but it's exhaust or not, you need to be able to pivot, and you need to be able to prepare and to be able to focus on Florida that final week. And so one thing I do feel good about is we should know a lot more about them and how they're being deployed and what they like to do and what they're great at least so far that season when we see them this year. So far less concerned. I don't really put much into the revenge side of it. We have business to handle and much bigger fish to fry than just putting a target on Florida's back. So
you have to have a target on every game. Everyone has a reason to have a target on them. Everyone's pretty good. Yeah, that's me the trick. All right, we will talk the back half of the schedule as soon as we hear a word from Dave.
Big financial decisions don't have to feel overwhelming. There's someone who can guide you every step of the way. David McClellan is a fiduciary financial advisor with Forum Financial, and he's working closely with his clients as a true financial life coach, guiding every aspect of your financial journey with expertise and care. If his name sounds familiar, that's because David was a swimmer at Texas and a member of several national championship teams. Today, he channels that same championship mindset into helping people win with their finances. David specializes in financial planning, and he's contributed numerous articles to Kiplinger on the topic of retirement tax bombs. And right now, David is offering viewers a free intro consultation to assess your financial situation. Do not miss this chance to get personalized guidance from a trusted expert. To schedule your free consult, email David at dmcclellan@forumfinancial.com, or you can call him directly at 312-933-8823. The contact info is in the description.
All right, new opponent that we haven't seen yet in Ole Miss. Of course, they're talented. Lane heads over to LSU. We'll talk about them later. But what happens here, Jet, whenever you're getting to the middle of the season? What does that feel? Are you run down? Or are you I'm halfway there, but I got halfway to go. What does that midpoint feel like?
You just train so hard, and honestly, nobody feels great. Like, nobody feels good. Everybody's hurt. There's a difference between hurt and being injured. You know what I mean? Everybody's hurting. I guess you could say, to a certain extent.
Just don't
It's a very physical game. You do feel the wear and tear, but this is where you rely on your preparation. You rely on your recovery, your discipline to do everything you can outside of the game to be always prepared in for the game. And no matter what you do, you're always going to get banged up. It's always, turf burn, a dink here, like a nick there, hurt shoulder, stinger. Like I had a stinger really bad. Oh, like nothing worse. I had a stinger really bad that senior season. And I just, just kind of play through it. These are things you got to overcome with, that toughness in your training. But at the end of the day, it's not it's not unbearable. Like it's not the end of the world. And yeah, we probably will pay for it a little bit more later in life, but that's what you do. You just love the game. And, you just fight through these little hurt things. And at the end of the day, you just love the game a lot more. And, we're all banged up, but we want to perform and want to do our best out there. And we want to go out there and perform our best for ourselves and our families and our team and our fans.
So now we're in the middle part. Ole Miss is
in
gonna be fun.
But in terms of Ole Miss,
you're just gonna have to watch out for Chambliss. We don't have to do a breakdown of every
no, but in
team.
terms of Ole Miss and being in the middle of the schedule, it's like another thing to kind of like forward to. Like if it was an FCS team, it's just like, man, I don't even want to go play. You know what I mean? Like no disrespect, but I just don't. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like I'm gonna go pad my stats. Is how I look at it. If it's Ole Miss, it's like let's go. Like if I could play, I love playing big games. Like those are the most exciting ones.
Well, it's like you have OU, emotional game. Florida potentially, right? Because in the back of your head for those players on the team are like they embarrassed us last year. I don't think they were the reason we got held out of the playoffs, but you can take that angle of that's why we got held out of the playoffs. So I think that has emotional potentiality, and it doesn't matter. There's like no breaks. You're into Ole Miss, great quarterback, new coaching, but still dynamic. And then I'm going to ask you about this one, Drew. Mississippi State, they took us down to the wire. They just don't know how to finish. You can tell they're still kind of a young, figuring it out. We were on the ropes, man. And they let us off the hook, or Niblett let us off the hook. And then why am I blanking on the second string quarterback? Oh, Caldwell, legend, threw the touchdown. But legend. What's your thought here, Drew, Mississippi State? I think we all have respect for that offense.
Yeah, I mean, with Mississippi State, I mean, you have a 4-quarter game. I mean, at the end of the day, Levy, if nothing else, he's going to try to attack you and find some explosive plays. So you're going to have a 4-quarter game. I think when it comes to you don't get to pick which game Ryan Niblett's going to be your hero, or hopefully this year Ryan Wingo gets to be a hero. Like you don't get to pick the game where heroism is needed, right? But you need it when you need it. And so at the end of the day, when looking at this entire schedule, there's going to be different things that unfold. And it may be Mississippi State. It may be on the road at Missouri. It may be against Arkansas. You don't get to pick that, but you got to be prepared for it. So we'd love to see one of these games, especially on the back end, just kind of show up a little bit easier to execute than expected. But you don't get to choose. You don't know until you show up, put on the pads, and go hit something to know if they're going to lay down or know if your game plan and your talent's going to just outlast them. So you just got to show up true, honest with yourself, and playing hard. So, you don't get to tune anybody out and assume they can lay down or they will lay down. So that is a good thing about having some of those closer games last season, I believe, is the key leaders on this team this year know well in advance that you can't take those games for granted.
Bobby Petronic, third time seeing the veer and shoot this season should pay off. Yeah, it feels like half the damn teams are running the veer and shoot right now. All right, then we're going to play Mizzou, new opponent at Mizzou. They've had a schedule, like the easiest schedules the past 3 years, and I think it's kind of their success is a mirage, at least for 1 or 2 wins this season. Now they're going to have to play better teams. On the flip side, they like to run the ball, and hopefully Ahmad Hardy, I need to check in on them, heals up from that gunshot wound and can play, because that's sad, and he's fun to watch. But this is a heavy run team, Jet, and they want to actually physically dominate. It's late in the season. It's the week before LSU. Probably going to have a big game versus Ole Miss. What's that mindset like of like, okay, this team's going to try to legit bully us and run on us?
I can't speak for this team. Clearly, I was very excited when people tried to run the ball on us, though. So from but I'm sure they, take it on and they're excited, but there's a difference between them taking it on and T Sweat and Byron Murphy taking it on.
I was going to say,
yeah.
It was
just at the end of the day,
fun.
I gotta call a spade a spade.
It was pretty fun for you, yeah.
Yeah. So I had a great time. You know what I mean? It was I could get off. I was a one-on-one pretty much majority of the time. So I could just kind of hang out and do my thing. They were doing all the dirty work. Talk about watching film. If you're ever an interior guy, is Byron Murphy, man. Nobody better, I think, in terms of even just playing football in general. He's like the best football player, besides Bijan probably. I call him 1A, 1B for me that I've ever seen with my own eyes. So he was great, but like I think they're gonna have quicker game. I don't know if that gets you pumped at all. If the player, like, however you need to get motivated and jazzed for it, you're gonna have to, because it's gonna be a physical game. They're gonna run the ball. Oklahoma State tried to do it to us with the Doak Walker Award winner and got like 30 yards the entire game. They got like maybe 1 yard to carry, maybe less.
Was it Byron Murphy that was talking on Instagram before? Because
they
were
talking
about him. He's like, yeah, we'll see about that. And
yeah,
I believed Byron every time.
They all know each other from South Dallas, so that's why they were all talking.
Yeah,
and so they knew each other. And yeah, he got hurt.
There's some players that talk, and you're like, there's some players that talk, and as a fan, you're kind of embarrassed of like, why are you doing this? Anytime Byron did, I was like, thank God. Like it's gonna work. Yeah, it's effective. Like,
yes,
it depends on who talks trash. Before the game.
But I don't know. Personally, I'm excited for it. Good. Let's get the game over with quicker. The clock's gonna be running. I can go and do whatever I want after that, and I get another W on the board. That's how I view it.
Drew, LSU, incredible environment, legendary team, but they get Lane Kiffin, who is offensively a wizard, much like Sark, and they're going to have great talent as well. What's that mindset coming in when you're going to face, and I don't know about year one, but Lane's fielded elite offenses. What's the difference there as a defender when you're facing potentially a top 10 offense?
I mean, go make some money, bro. You get 12 of these games. You're competing every week against your own teammates for snaps. A game like this on the road, go make some money. Like, that is what you're built to do. Like, even when looking at this entire schedule, when people talk about it being a gauntlet, all these players are preparing to play in the NFL, where every week requires the discipline and consistency and the focus and the paying attention to your body and playing through pain and playing on the road in hostile environments. So, I mean, you want to play at the next level, go play LSU on the road. Like, go do that and go own it. Go show what you're made of. Like that's what it's about. You don't shy away from anything like this. So this is an exciting opportunity. And if anybody is looking to put something on film for NFL teams, these are one of those games you circle, hands down.
Yeah, I think also, like, in terms of how I attack it throughout the week, like, I'm probably watching more film. They got more film to watch. They got more situations that they can do more things with because they have more talent and crazy play calling and
it's deep in the season.
So you don't know what they've been saving or what they've been preparing for or what they've been setting up on film. So there's all that to evaluate.
What about Arkansas? Is Arkansas a rival to the players? I know the old school guys think Arkansas is a rival. The new generation is like, we'll play along, but we don't really feel like they're a rival.
I feel like you kind of hit it on the head right there.
Yeah.
Like, we want them to be a rival, but they're just like, I mean, unless that one season we didn't win very many games. Other than that, like, which is just like whatever.
They just have to play better.
Just be better, and then we can play closer games, and then more people will be intrigued. Simple math equation there for you.
Yeah. Drew, what do you think?
Arkansas is definitely a rival.
Okay.
If they never become great, we'll never get to see it. But I promise Texas fans who do not know this, if Arkansas ever gets a roster and we have to play on the road there, do not go to that game.
Oh, don't go.
Dude,
No, don't go.
Fayetteville is cool, man. Like
It's
it's
cool. It's
Yeah.
awesome, but
Yeah.
we need
They're
to go.
one of the, to be fair, they're one of the only teams I ever went to and like knew that these people just hated us. You could feel it in the air.
There's
It's
no
like
place like
the history is just stuck in the air.
Yeah.
It's as old as dirt. Like they just hate you and you can just smell it in the air.
Dude, that game where they got y'all bad, got us. I'm a fan. They got all of us bad. I've never heard the consistent ambient sound of a stadium that loud, wall to wall. Like for just, it was just this sound. Even on television, you could just hear this hum constantly.
Yeah, I hurt my ankle that game, and I'm pretty much to this day like I can't walk right. Like actually,
it's more than the loss. It's just like you got to.
Yeah, I like. You think you guys have it bad? Like every time I walk, I get Arkansas in that game.
But honestly, Fayetteville's a really cool town. I went up there there's cabins like a little bit north of it. And I was like, this is actually a cool town. We have the stereotype of Arkansas that like they're hillbillies and like and totally impoverished. Mm-hmm. And then you go there and you're like, this is actually a beautiful resort area. And it's pretty nice. All right. Final game is versus Texas A&M. All right. This one I've been told is a big one too. We've beat them twice. It's pretty fun. Did you get to play them, Jed? I can't remember.
Nah.
You were there the last season in the Big 12. That's a bummer. Drew, what was it like playing them?
It was different for us because every player on both rosters was pretty much from the state of Texas. We all knew each other. It was still a rivalry, obviously, still competitive, obviously, but there was a respect too. So it's definitely not like the Arkansas hate. But we actually live with these people. We see them every day at work. We see them everywhere. So it is a little bit different of a rivalry, meaning do they still want to win this game more than anything? Absolutely. But they especially want to win this game more than anything. But there's just a different pride here. Like I said, whether we were in the SEC or not, similar with OU, this is a game like, you need to go 3-0, then next year go 4-0, then the next year go 5, like keep the streak. Like that is what that is exactly what your mentality should be as a Texas player is you're not going to be the first team to let one go to A&M because you are prepared. You do know who you are. There's no reason we should go into this game not prepared to go take them down. So definitely one of the best rivalries I'm excited to have back. I've had A&M fans who have been talking for years that I haven't heard from in 2 years. Man, it's quiet here in Houston when it comes to the Aggies, and it'll start. I'm sure that it'll be much louder by the time we get to November.
So I always argue that Kyle Field is definitionally not a tough place to play just because if you look at them, they don't beat the spread there. And the only way I can evaluate if it's hard to play there is if you consistently beat the spread. But every player I talk to is like, no, it is different. Like Quandre Diggs, when I was talking to him, he's like, that's the only stadium that gave me a headache. Like he was like, I needed to go ask for Tylenol on the sidelines because he's like, they wouldn't shut up. What did you think, Drew? Is the environment – I know we have to be careful. Is it cool?
It is now. So that's the word there. I mean, it is one of the coolest environment. It doesn't feel like hate though. I mean,
it feels like a spectacle, like you're at a fireworks show.
They say the words. I mean, they can say the words "Saw Varsity's horns off," but I mean, you love us. Like we're in your song, bro. Like, yeah. I'm sorry. I don't feel intimidated by them swaying back and forth, or I don't feel like they're loud, but it gives you a lot of pride playing there. I don't know how it is for anybody else, but when you're in another stadium and you're hated so much to where they do special things just for you coming to town, I mean, dude, that's why you want to play there. I'm actually excited we're playing there this year. So, I wouldn't say it's an intimidating environment, but there's nothing. I take nothing away from A&M with the way they show up for 4 quarters when we play in College Station.
Definitely a unique environment. Were y'all bummed out, Jed? Did y'all ever talk about amongst yourselves that you wish you could play that game?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's one of the ones we knew that they were going to get next season, so that sucked. But I'll tell you what, I almost got in about 1,800 fights when I was actually there at the game. So I was definitely doing my job on the side of the bleachers. And
You
the
were
only reason I
enforcing?
didn't get into the fight is because I think we beat them so bad. And I was still playing up in Canada. So I was coming off of an injury, and I was on 1 foot talking more than anybody's ever talked all in their life. But it was a good time, and it was a great experience even from the stands that game.
For sure. All right, we got through the schedule. Fairly reasonable time. Good for us. Everyone head over to Inside Texas. Join for $1, then 50% off your first year. The link is down in the description below. Everyone enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening. See you later.